Well, I've been later. I've cut it closer, still made it. So, when? Hey guys, this is Jace and welcome to episode 162 of my road show. We got some stuff to get into, so let's get right into it. We left really freaking heavy and stupid freaking late. Now I was waiting on orders, but just the way that everything kind of went together today, by the time I was ready to put stuff on the truck, those orders were already out. So really, it's no harm, no foul. Good morning, everybody. Here we are yet again, heavy as crap, later than shit, and there ain't nothing that could have been helped with it today. I just love how people just blow past and like, no care in the world. They're like, oh, that light's red, but that's okay. They don't enforce these over here. Zoom! But I tell you what, the very instant that I do that crap, there will be 6 cop cars up here lined up waiting for me to pull me out and beat the shit out of me with their freaking nightsticks. Now, ordinarily I would say don't threaten me with a good time, but I don't have time for it today. Like, I'm late and freaking whatever. Obviously we're in the Kenworth. There was enough crap where it wouldn't have fit under the curtain. A lot of it's for the middle of the route, so at least I'll be getting rid of quite a bit of it. But I gotta get there first. I had visions originally of getting out of the yard at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, which would have been optimal. The thing is that I didn't know I was waiting on orders. And so when I went in there to pick up all my paperwork, there was this one folder that was sitting there, and I'm like, what's this? Well, that's still on the sander. I'm like, all right. It was a 10-foot unit, so I knew it was going to go on the tail, so I could at least load the truck before that came out. So that didn't really hold me back. The thing that really killed me today was just where everything was situated. It was just buried. And so I go out to start staging it, and everybody's just having a fit because everybody's got their staging in where I like to put my staging. So I was in everybody's way. I would no sooner set down some stuff that somebody would come along and move it because there was stuff behind there that they needed. So I decided, all right, I'll just take everything out in the dirt lot back where we park all the trucks, and I won't be bothered. I no sooner set a big stack of stuff down that the other driver, and he's trying to pull out because he's got the shavings truck, and he's trying to back in, so I'm in his way too. And I'm like, you know what? Today is not the day for this. So I just took everything and put it back in the warehouse. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for everybody to do what they're doing. So finally, in the staging area, holes started opening up where they were getting the stuff put in the machine and whatever. So I at least had 2 holes to put stuff. And I come trudging out with that stuff and put it in there, and by that time that unit that I was waiting on was done. So timing wise, it wasn't too terrible. Yes, I am sick of leaving at almost 11 o'clock every Thursday morning, but I guess the way the stuff is situated, it just can't be helped. Now, I did purposefully get to work about a half an hour late so I would have some hours, well, not hours really, minutes, so I could have several minutes of ops time on the back end of this route. Like when I'm leaving Steamboat, headed for Junction, I'll have about a 45-minute window instead of a 15-minute window. So I did myself that favor at least. The digital sign said it was 60 minutes to Idaho Springs, which is not a good sign. That's usually 20 minutes. So I don't know if they're including the rock scaling holds or not. But I know when I passed underneath that sign and saw what the times were to various places in the high country, I was alarmed. It should not take 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to Vail from here. It should not take an hour and a half to get to the tunnel from here. It definitely should not take an hour to get to Idaho Springs from here. So we'll have to see what's going on. Hopefully they're including the rock scaling holds, but you never know, man. Literally every time I do something proactive to give myself time on the back sides of routes, something, and I don't know why this is, but something will suck up all of that time plus like 10 minutes. So then I have 10 minutes less to do with what I was going to do the first time. Yeah, check it out. We ran smack into the traffic. Sometimes I hate this job. They need to just shut down I-70 for like a week and literally just dynamite that whole area that they're doing the rock scaling at and get it all over and done with all at once. I need a time machine. Doc Brown, I need that DeLorean with a flux capacitor so I can go 88 miles an hour and use 1.21 gigawatts. Actually, I take that back. I would rather just take the governor off of this truck and the International and just put the flux capacitor in here, because each of these bitches are capable of going 88 miles an hour. They're just limited to not be able to. After all that rock scaling asshattery that we had to put up with, as I was driving through Dumont, I see that the scale house was actually closed for once. I'm like, man, cut me a break. I need it. One of my other fears about this kind of dumb crap, because I got down there relatively at the end of the line, that I'm gonna get right up to the front and they're gonna come waltzing across the street with their little dumb stop sign on a pole. And then I will have waited that time plus this time, making everything even worse. Well, believe it or not, my first time vampire was not very vampire-y. I was in and out of there in 11 minutes flat. And for them, that's hauling ass. I'm just hoping I can keep this pace of play up. All right, so these two stops all told were 25 minutes, and that's only because it took 15 minutes for them to figure out who is receiving stuff. Now here they're usually pretty good. The kid that receives is apparently on lunch, and the guy that was in the shack didn't want to run a forklift, so he went into the delivery and will call office and made one of those guys come out and pulled the unit off of my truck. Way to pass the buck there, buddy. But yeah, all told 25 minutes for this whole transaction, so I'm not doing too bad. I can't have any more major hang-ups, but I'm not doing too bad. So now all we got to do is head to Steamboat, and then we've got the 1, 2, 3, and then after that, straight to Clifton. Knocking on wood, everything will just turn out fine. As I'm looking at what time it is, I figure out that I need to really pick up the pace if I'm going to make it to Clifton without running out of hours today. When does that never happen? As soon as I said, oh, I need to pick up the pace, this happens. I don't know why it is I have to continually deal with fuel trucks all day long, but here we are. Tankers, in my experience, will not go 1 plank length per century over the speed limit. So if I have any chance of making it in and out of Steamboat Springs with at least 3 hours of ops left in order to get into Clifton, I'm gonna have to find a way to get around this guy. Well, that's reason number 627,897 that I will never upgrade my license. Of course, it doesn't help that we got 1-lane road ahead. Be prepared to stop. Bitch, I'm always prepared to stop. The road construction never ends. You know, it's not like a standard building project where grab all the necessary materials, you break the ground, you dig up all the holes, you put the shit up, and then you're done. You know, it's not like that. It's a constant, ongoing, everlasting, you know, and I've probably said this enough times on this channel where it just gets sickening to hear me say it again, but I'm gonna say it again. If you assholes would have built it correctly the first freaking time, You wouldn't be out here 24/7, 365, ripping up your crap and putting it back down. Idiots. Well, we roll into Clifton with 11 minutes of ops. I started off with 7, so we picked up some time somewhere. Tomorrow's stops are, I have 2 here in Clifton, I have 1 in Carbondale, I have 1 in Edwards, 1 in Breckenridge, 1 in Silverthorne, and then I can go home. Anyway, that's all I've got for you tonight. I'll see you in the next one.